Good morning, everyone. I hope you guys are all having a blessed day. Mine's going really good. As you can see, we're out at the cemetery today. I had the neighbors' dogs barking, I had the grandkids over, and there was just no place this morning to record a video at my house. So we came out here. We got a little bit of traffic from the street over there, but it's the best we can do. So listen, I want to talk to you today about a subject. When I first got my metal detector and I started gold panning, I learned a lot about gold. And one thing I learned was that when a miner came up to a creek or a river or even just in the ground somewhere and he found a gold nugget, he wasn't concerned about the other gold that was in the creek. He knew he'd pick all that up. What he was concerned with is he would look around at the hills and he would try to figure out, where did that gold come from? That gold didn't start here in the creek. It came from somewhere. What I learned about gold is there's always a source, and then there's a conduit, normally a creek, where the gold will get washed down during the big storms. And then there's a place in the creek where there's a trap. Like there'll be a little waterfall or something and the gold will fall down and bed itself in the dirt, and then over time it sinks. So you have the source, the conduit, and the trap. And all miners know that. Well, this is what it says in Matthew 5:7. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. You know, in all of eternity, I will never understand why God has allowed me to live. Because if I was God, I would have snuffed me out a long, long time ago. And I also know that no one has sinned against me more than I have sinned against God. No one has offended me more than I have offended God. In 1 Thessalonians 5:15, this is what it says. See that none render evil for evil unto any man, but ever follow that which is good, both among yourselves and to all men. We're not to render evil unto any person, no matter what they do to us. In other words, what we're supposed to be is a mercy conduit. Just like the conduit that brings that gold from its source down to that creek, we are to be a mercy conduit. God's mercy has been given to us. We are to take that mercy and give it to someone who absolutely does not deserve it. So listen, I have 3 areas in my life that I need to work on so I can be a mercy conduit. And you guys remember, I've told you many times that whenever I do a video, I am preaching to myself far more than I'm preaching to you. So listen, the first area in my life that I need to be a mercy conduit to others is when I'm driving. You know, the other day, me and my wife were going to get on the freeway, and the traffic was backed up for probably about a block. And we waited in line and moved up, and when I almost got to the front, I look in my mirror and I see this turkey coming all the way past all the other cars, and he gets right up there, and there's about a 2-foot gap between me and the car in front of me, and he just kind of sticks his nose right in that gap, thinking I'm going to let him in. And so I just nudge forward a little bit like I'm not going to let him in, and he gets closer like he's going to hit me or something, and finally my wife says, listen, just back up and let him in. And I'm like, all right, then I'll do that. And another one is right down the street from my house, I have a Bel Air grocery store. And when you come up to this store, when you come in off the street, you get to go right into the parking lot, and there's these 2 other little roads that come off the rows, and they have stop signs, and the person coming in off the street doesn't have a stop sign. Well, people think that everyone has a stop sign, and a lot of times when you'll come in off that street, the people that are coming up to these stop signs, they'll just go thinking you have a stop sign. And a couple of times I've had people honk at me and flip me off, and I roll down my window and I say, look, you had the stop sign, not me. So that's another place where, you know, you could when someone flips you off and starts screaming at you, it's very easy to play into that game. But we have to be a mercy conduit. And another thing that just absolutely irritates me to death is self-checkout. Now, I don't know how you guys are, but almost all of our stores, especially Walmart, they're all self-checkout. And I sit there and I'm checking myself out, and then pretty soon there'll be a couple of buttons on there that don't work. And one of them is Walmart, where it asks you how many bags you have. So you'll put in like 5 bags and it'll say, is 5 bags correct? And you'll go to say yes, and the yes doesn't work. And I hit it about 3 times with my finger, then I'm smacking it with my knuckle, and finally someone will come over and do it for me. But I get so irritated with self-checkout, it's just crazy. So driving, self-checkout, and another one that it used to irritate me, but I've come to terms with it, and that is when I go into a store, Walmart again, and I walk up to an employee and I say, hey, do you know what aisle this is on? And they look me right in the eye and they say, I don't speak English. And I'm like, oh. But you know what? I honestly, I know I have to be a mercy conduit for that person. And this is the reason why. I mean, here this poor lady is working at Walmart. She probably just got here a while back from El Salvador someplace. She moved out of someplace so her family wouldn't get killed. She's here. She's not on welfare. She's working. She's working. And so it takes her, you know, a year to learn English. I need to cut this lady some slack. And my last one is video comments. Right here on social media, people will leave the most hateful comments on my videos. And you know what? I know they're trolls. Like, some people will listen to an entire video and not catch a single word that I said, but they'll complain about something in the background. I've had people say to me, why are you filming in a cemetery? And I'll tell you why. It's because it's peaceful. There's no one here. So those are the 3 areas in my life that I need to be a mercy conduit to everybody. And that's driving, when I'm in a store at self-checkout, and video comments. You know, another thing that people tell me in the comments and videos, I had a guy a while back, I know a lot of you might have saw it, when I did that thing in the book of James was one of my scriptures, and this guy came on there and said, you know, the book of James doesn't even belong in the Bible. And I'm like, how do you figure that? And he goes, because James says we're saved by works. I go, no, that's not what James says. James says, you say you have faith but have no works, I'll show you my faith by my works. In other words, what James is saying is, look, if you have faith, you're naturally going to have works. But he was adamant that the book of James did not belong in the Bible. And I'm like, brother. And finally, I answer one time, and then I never answer again, because I know that trolls are just looking for an argument. So listen, we are commanded to love everybody. And the way you do that is by extending mercy to those that don't deserve it. God, the source of mercy, extends that mercy to us. And we as God's children are to turn around and extend that mercy to somebody else. And people, that's not after you tell them off. That's not after 25 minutes when you settle down. You are to be a conduit of mercy, and you are to love your neighbor as yourself immediately. It's supposed to be natural. So anyway, I just want to give you something to think about. Heaven or hell, you choose. Just remember, once you take your last breath, it's a done deal.